If you're watching this, it means you felt something in part 1 that wouldn't let go. And that's because this message is more than content. It's a code buried deep in your spirit. Today, we go deeper. If you carry the letter M or a crescent moon on your palm, this is not an accident. These aren't just mysterious lines. They're divine instructions, markings that reveal you were chosen long before you had a name. In this second part, full of spiritual resistance, what the crescent truly says about your divine timing, how the M is more than a letter, it's a map for your soul's calling, and why your life has always felt out of sync with the world, because you weren't made to blend in. You were designed to awaken it. So I ask you, stay with me. Listen not just with your ears, but with your inner knowing. This isn't a video. This is remembrance. This moment isn't just about listening. It's about awakening. You didn't click this video by mistake. You were summoned here. And the reason might be hiding in plain sight, right on the palms of your hand. One that looks like the letter M, or maybe a tiny crescent moon nestled gently beneath your palms together. These aren't decorations of flesh. They're not randomness. They are before you were even born. They are spiritual blueprints, and they only appear on the hands of those chosen for something greater than ordinary existence. This channel wasn't created to chase virality or echo trends. It was birthed with a different kind of fire, a divine responsibility to serve as a compass for the scattered ones, for the watchful ones, for the ones who've always felt different. Let me ask you, has the world ever a flaw? That your deep intuition was too much? That the way you sense people, read atmospheres, and feel energy was just your imagination? It's not. That was your preparation. These marks are like sealed letters from the divine, and now they're being opened. You're not just watching a video. You're unlocking an ancient message, one that's been quietly pulsing under your skin since before your first memory. This is not a coincidence. It's a spiritual equation. Because here's what very few people will tell you. In certain sacred lineages, the M was known as the messenger's mark. It appears in 1 out of every 36 people. That number isn't random. It aligns with the 36 decans of ancient sky maps, each representing a divine gate of knowledge. And those who carry the M in their palm were said to be born with a built-in bridge between worlds, the physical and the unseen. Now add the crescent moon. In ancient traditions, the crescent is more than a lunar phase. It's a symbol of tree, protection, and divine sight. A crescent on the palm often curves beneath the pinky or ring finger. This is no accident. In energy mapping, those fingers are associated with intuition, relationships, and creativity gifts often activated in those marked with prophetic calling. You're starting to see it, aren't you? That aching in your chest, that lifelong restlessness? It was never confusion. It was a signal. You were marked before the world even knew your name. Not everyone will see this, and fewer will believe it. But you're different. You kept looking for answers, even when the world handed you distractions. You kept returning to that silent whisper that said, you were born for more. And now it's your time. The shift has already begun. Many of you have reported waking up in the middle of the night with clarity or feeling a strange pressure between your brows. Some are seeing number sequences 2222. Message is double confirmed. You are synchronizing with your destiny. And maybe you felt isolated lately. Maybe you've noticed that the more you align with your true self, the more people misunderstand you. That's not punishment. That's separation for elevation. The chosen ones are often removed before they are revealed. But here's the truth few dare to say aloud. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to be found, and right now, in this very moment, something deeper than thought is being activated in you. A soul memory, a recognition, not just of your divine purpose, but of the ancient lineage that lives in your very DNA. You are not just part of history, you are its continuation. So I'll leave this part with a question that only your spirit can answer. Have you been ignoring the signs because you were afraid, or because you didn't know what they meant? You won't be able to unsee it now. The marks are speaking. Step by step, before we continue, I need to say something from the heart. If this message is stirring something deep inside of you, if you feel like you finally found words for a knowing you couldn't explain before, then I want to personally invite you to join this space. Would you take a moment to subscribe? Not as a number, not as a follower, but as part of a soul family that's waking up together. You see, this channel is not just a platform carved into their skin. If you've made it this far, you're not just watching, you're resonating. And we want to hear from you, truly. Drop a comment below and tell us, what kind of message would help you the most right now on your spiritual journey? Whether it's decoding dreams, navigating spiritual attacks, or understanding your divine timing, we're listening. And this content is shaped by your voice. Now let's dive deeper into what it really means. People go through life searching for meaning externally. But you've always felt that the answers were hiding inside you. That's because the letter M and the crescent moon are not just markings. They are inner assignments. And like all spiritual assignments, they come with preparation, with pain, with pruning. Most chosen ones go through what's called the season of reduction, a mysterious period where everything they once relied on seems to fall away. Friendships dissolve. Career paths become unclear. Even the body begins to reject foods, habits, and environments that no longer match your frequency. This is not a breakdown. It's a rebirth. When the crescent begins to activate, usually triggered by emotional loss, awakening dreams, or powerful inner shifts, you'll notice a strange clarity enter your life. People who once drained your spirit will begin to fade away. Things that once consumed your attention will lose their grip. Sacredness. And here's what's wild. Your fingertips start to feel energy. Your inner ear picks up spiritual tones. You can walk into a room and feel what's been left unsaid. It's not magic. It's memory. You are remembering what your soul agreed to long before your body took form. Let me give you something to reflect on. The letter M is composed of 4 lines, 2 outer lines and 2 that peak in the middle. Ancient seers believed this shape represented the 4 worlds of spiritual development: physical, your body and surroundings; emotional, your feelings, relationships; intellectual, your ideas and truths; spiritual, your soul's divine fire. When all 4 align, a person becomes a vessel, a messenger capable of carrying light without distortion. That's you, or at least it's who you're becoming. The crescent moon, meanwhile, was always associated with divine timing. The Hebrew calendar is lunar. So were the ancient Egyptian ritual. The moon was especially during new beginnings. When this crescent appears in your palm, it's a sign. You were designed to sense timing, to know when the veil is thin, to recognize windows that others miss. Have you noticed yourself sensing something before it happens? Having dreams that later unfold in real life? Feeling drained around certain people without reason? These aren't flaws. They are confirmations. You were not created to be normal. You were designed to disturb darkness simply by being who you are. Let's make this personal. What part of this resonates with you most so far? Please share in the comments. This is your safe space, and someone else might need your words to find their strength today. And one more thing, if you know someone with these same marks, someone who's always seemed different, gifted, maybe even misunderstood, send this video to them, because often the chosen ones are the last to realize they've been chosen. Needs to be said, you weren't overlooked, you were protected. Those long seasons of silence, the rejection, the moments where life seemed unfair or even cruel, they weren't punishments. They were divine shelter. You weren't being abandoned. You were being preserved. Because you, chosen one, were carrying something too sacred to be exposed too soon. Think about it. The moon doesn't rush to shine in the daylight. It waits for darkness to rise, so that its light becomes undeniable. And you, with your M and your crescent mark, were never meant to blend in. You were designed to glow in the dark. Maybe you've been walking through what feels like an invisible wilderness. You've questioned your purpose. You've wondered if your voice even matters. Let me tell you something the world forgot to whisper in your ear. You are not behind. You are right on time. You're not late. You're arriving exactly when your calling requires you to be revealed. In divine sequences, Moses wasn't known in the palace. He was hidden in a basket. David was never in the lineup. He was alone in the fields. Esther wasn't born in royalty. She was placed in it by purpose. And maybe your past doesn't look like a prophet's story. Maybe it's filled with trauma, mistakes, or even shame. But the M on your hand doesn't care about the chapters you regret. It cares about the mission you still carry. Because the M doesn't stand for mistake or misfit. It stands for messenger, marked, moved by the divine. And the crescent? That little moon you carry? It's the evidence that your soul still cycles with the heavens. That even when everything in life feels unpredictable, your spirit still knows when to rise. You don't need to know every step ahead. You just need to answer the one in front of you now. This is your invitation. Not just to believe in what's possible, but to become it. Take a moment right now and not random. They are the signature of something older than time. So I want to speak directly to your spirit now. If you're hearing this message and something inside you is burning, something sacred, familiar, unexplainable, then do not ignore it. You are being remembered by the divine. You are being awakened for your assignment. You're not who they said you were. You're far more than you've ever been allowed to be. Before we continue, I would like to ask you something human to human, soul to soul. If this message stirred something inside you, will you take 5 seconds right now to subscribe? Not just for you, but for the next chosen one who's still searching. Let's build a community where the misunderstood feel known, where the quiet warriors remember their strength, where the too sensitive are seen as spiritually elite, and where the marked ones finally stop apologizing for their power. Drop a comment and tell us what opened in you through this message. Something? Confirm something? Set you free? And if someone in your life carries these same signs, send this video to them. Not tomorrow, now. Because the ones who are marked usually don't even know how extraordinary they are until someone shows them the mirror. Let me take a moment to tell you what others may never have dared to say out loud. You were not left out. You were set apart. You weren't abandoned. You were anointed in silence. And those marks on your hand? They were never meant to make you feel strange. They were meant to make you ready. You were born carrying a frequency this world barely understands. And because of that, your journey had to look different. You had to be misunderstood, silenced, even overlooked, so that when the time came, your voice would pierce through the noise with truth that couldn't be denied. Let me ask you something. Why do you think you've always felt things more deeply than others? Why does your spirit weep when you hear a certain shh? When you stand beneath the stars, Why do people come to you with their pain, even if they don't know why they trust you? Because your soul has ancient roots, and your energy remembers things your mind has yet to recall. The M is not just a mark, it's a map. Each line is a path, each cross-section a memory, each rise and curve a divine instruction. And those who carry the crescent beneath it are often the ones who operate in cycles, not of repetition, but of resurrection. They rise again, and again, and again, because they weren't built to break. They were built to rebirth. So when you carry this crescent on your palm, your body is silently echoing, I was born to carry timing, wisdom, and purity through every storm. And the letter M? Think about its structure. It rises, it peaks, it dips, and then it rises again. Your life may have looked hiding. No more shrinking to make others feel comfortable. No more apologizing for the energy you radiate. Because if they were meant to understand your fire, they would have been forged in the same flame. You carry the codes of resurrection. There's something else you should know. People with these markings are often the transmuters of their bloodline, the ones who break generational patterns, the ones who refuse to repeat trauma, the ones who feel exhausted, not because they're weak, but because they're doing the spiritual labor of 10 lifetimes in one. If you've always felt like the black sheep of the family, if your presence stirs things in people, light or darkness, without you saying a word, if you've had to walk away from environments that once defined you, it's because your frequency started to outgrow your history. And your history was never your home. It was your initiation. Let that sink in. There's a scripture that whispers something deeper when read with, He will give you a new name, written in stone, that no one knows except the one who receives it. Revelation 2:17. Many believe that those with the M and the crescent moon have already been marked with this name. Not a literal name, but an identity that the world can't define and the enemy can't erase. You carry a spiritual fingerprint that is unreproducible. And when you start to walk in that identity, miracles begin to move in your favor because the universe responds to authentic alignment, not empty performance. This is your moment to stand up spiritually. This isn't just another video. This is a divine echo, a signal, a flare in the sky for those who've been lost in their calling, afraid of their power, or unsure if the signs were real. Let me tell you right now, they are. You are. And the time for hesitation is over. You are one of the 1 in 36, a sacred fraction, a spiritual frequency, a divine appointment. Don't waste another minute who were never meant to understand your language. Speak to the stars. Speak to the source. Speak to the mirror. You've always known who you are. Now it's time to walk in it. Let me close this with a few invitations straight from the heart. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Not out of obligation, but because you finally found a digital space that speaks your language. A place to return to when your spirit feels heavy or your path feels unclear. A spiritual home for the marked ones. Leave a comment below. What did this message awaken in you? What is something you've never shared with anyone about your journey with these signs until now? Share this video with someone you love who also carries the mark. They may be doubting themselves right now. They may be feeling invisible. But this message could be the mirror that finally shows them their soul. Ignore negativity. If someone chooses to mock this truth, let them go. Your path is no, and we don't entertain pessimism here, we transmute it. Let's drop the politeness for a moment, because what I'm about to say might stir something raw inside you. You've been lied to, conditioned, programmed, pacified, taught to hide your fire suppress your voice, and sanitize your intuition just to protect people's egos. Because here's the truth. You see what others can't. You feel what others numb. You know what others ignore. And that's not your burden. It's your badge. Wear it. You were born to unsettle darkness. You think the enemy attacks you so hard just because you're a little spiritual? No. The darkness knows who you are, even if you've forgotten. You're dangerous to deception. You disturb illusions. You threaten the order of programmed blindness. And you do it just by existing. So don't tell me you're not ready. You've been prepared in secret. While others partied, you were in pain. While others, your comfort zone. It's your activation chamber. And if you're still here watching, then I know you're not soft. You're chosen. And chosen ones don't play small. So let's dismantle the illusions. You don't need validation from broken systems. You don't need approval from people who fear your depth. You don't need to wait until you're perfect to walk in your gift. Perfection is a prison. Authenticity is the weapon. And your hands? They're not just holding potential. They're carrying prophecy. You were marked for this. Break free or stay bound. The choice is yours. If you're still trying to water yourself down to keep others comfortable, let me warn you. You're delaying your destiny to soothe their dysfunction. And that's spiritual self-sabotage. You weren't created to tiptoe through life. You were created to take territory, mentally, spiritually. Beggar, declaring your worth like you know heaven backs you. You have angels on standby. And you're still asking for permission? Wake up. Your spirit has been whispering. Now it's roaring. Do you feel it, shaking inside your chest? That sense that something massive is coming, and you're being positioned for it. That's not anxiety. That's spiritual readiness. It's the moment before a wave crashes. It's the stillness before the thunder rolls. It's your soul screaming. I was made for this. You can't go back after this. Once you've been awakened, there's no going back to sleep. Once you've seen the code in your palms, the illusion of normalcy will never satisfy you again. You will start noticing signs everywhere. You'll feel divine alignment in the strangest moments. And the people who aren't meant to walk with you, they'll fall away. Without a sound, without explanation. Sent because you have. If this hits your soul like lightning, don't stay silent. Subscribe, comment your truth. Share this with another warrior who's waking up. We're not here to be liked. We're here to be legendary. Welcome to the uprising of the marked ones. Let's be honest. You've spent a lifetime dimming your light just to survive. You played small in rooms you were meant to lead. You stayed quiet in moments you should have spoken fire. Why? Because every time you started to rise, life hit you harder. Every time you got close to truth, someone tried to drown your clarity in noise. But that ends now. This is your unmuting. This is your sacred rebellion. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to break through. And no, not everyone will like it. Not everyone will understand the way your energy shifts a room. That's because your presence doesn't entertain. It awakens. It exposes. It resurrects. When you walk in truth, anything false starts to collapse. That's why they resisted you. That's why they feared you. And that's why the world needs you now more than ever. Because the marked ones were never meant to just survive. They were born to realign timelines, awaken generations, and restore sacred knowledge. Thus, remember, you are not a mistake. You are a message, and your silence was never weakness, it was training. Now your voice returns with thunder. Say it with me in the comments. I am marked. I am ready. I remember. Your light is no longer optional. It's inevitable. And the time for hiding is over. So rise not just for yourself, but for every soul connected to your calling. Rise for the ancestors who couldn't. Rise for the ones who will only awaken because you did first. The M and the Crescent weren't placed on your hands by chance. They are your eternal reminder. You were never meant to fit a system. You don't need another sign. This is it. You've been called, you've been confirmed, and now you've been activated. Don't waste this clarity. Don't silence this fire. Every storm you've survived, every betrayal, every delay, it was forging you, not breaking you. Now your feet are aligned with destiny, your voice with truth. The time for shrinking is over. The world needs marked ones who remember, who reclaim, who restore. So breathe deeply, walk boldly, and never again deny the divine codes written into your hands. You're not just waking up, you're about to wake others, and that is why you were born.